Greening the African horizon, a new dawn rising with the sun.
This is the Confident One podcast, brand new season of the GLF series, themed Greening the African Horizon, and have an amazing guest in the building, Khadija. She's doing amazing things in Africa, in Kenya, and across the world, and we'll get into that in a short while. Welcome to the Confident One podcast.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure for me to be here with you today.
Absolutely amazing. You know, I've been checking your bio and the things you've been doing, and I was curious about a project called Pikala, Bikes Association.
Sure. So Pikala Bikes Association is a Moroccan organization that started in 2016. The activities of the association started first in the city of Marrakesh, Morocco, and now we're based in Marrakesh, Rabat, and Agadir. And I am the head of the partnerships of the organization after serving for 2 months as the social project coordinator. Pikala Association works on promoting sustainable mobility across Morocco, and we do that through a variety of activities. Our three main pillars are first, education and awareness raising. We raise awareness about the importance of cycling as a way of mobility, but at the same time as a tool to preserve and to promote our environment and to reduce carbon emissions. And we also organize and host free cycling courses for women, because
Amazing.
we believe in the importance of women's empowerment, and we do that for free because not everyone has the ability and the financial capacity to pay for these classes. And we also organize workshops for children at an early age on roads.
What's the age brackets for the
Between
kids?
8 to 12.
8 to 12, okay.
And we host road safety workshops to make sure that they are aware of how they can cycle at an early age. So when they become older, they're capable of cycling safely. In addition to that, we also promote sustainable job creation, and we're very happy to share that since the association started, we provided 43 job opportunities for young people in ecotourism and also on how to repair bicycles and other fields. And the third one, and which is also very important to drive sustainable change, is advocacy. We believe that we cannot create a sustainable and long-lasting impact if we do not work with the authorities, and for that reason we try to build our activities together with decision makers and local authorities
and policymakers. And how is that going?
Its impact. It's going very well. I mean, in Morocco, the Moroccan government,
there's willingness by the government to participate?
There is a lot of willingness to participate, and there are ongoing projects. For example, in MyCP, we have a big project called GCAP, Green City Action Plan. And the local municipality and the local decision makers are very much involved and interested in supporting our initiatives. Before coming to Kenya, I attended a stakeholders meeting where we discussed the plan. It was very much focused on co-creation and building. And that's very important because when you have different stakeholders and different voices heard, that's when you are able to understand what is missing, what are the needs, and you are also able to reflect on what can be done. Because if it's just a plan,
you identify the loopholes.
Exactly. If it's identified by one person, it's not complete.
But different minds brought together.
Absolutely.
Very impactful.
So we're very lucky to have strong ties with the local authorities who've been supporting us. And actually on the 20th of next month,
October,
we will organize the first open street day in the capital city of Morocco. And we would not have been able to do it without the support of the Wilaya in Rabat, who have been super supportive of our initiatives.
Amazing.
And the suggested activities.
That brings us to a topic and a theme that's huge in the conference today about partnerships and finance. How do you think, in your experience working with organizations, what's the importance of partnerships and financing in achieving a prosperous Africa? Especially the theme is about greening the African horizon. How important is partnership and finances in all these projects?
Absolutely. I mean, one of the main challenges that project holders, especially young people who start for the first time, are facing is finances.
Finances, yeah.
Access to funding. And I mean, even if there are available grants, many do not have the capacity to submit grant applications that reflect their vision for a better Africa, that reflect their activities and the objectives and the impact that they hope to achieve. So when I talk about fundraising, it's not just about receiving grants. It's also about how to submit grant applications. And
That's,
for
by
that,
the way, that's very ambiguous. People don't even know how to do it.
absolutely, and unfortunately, there is no, I would say, available trainings for people to just sign up and to learn how to do it. And it's a learning by doing. And furthermore, it's important to build the resilience of young people, because when you're rejected for the first time,
You
it
should
feels
try again,
awful. Yeah. But when you are aware that it's about trying and trying until it's done, and also democratizing access to information, because how will we know about available funding opportunities if people do not have access to this information to know where they can receive credible information about available funding? So funding is definitely an important resource for any project to succeed and to sustain, because for many, they start a project, they finish it, they report, and that's it.
Yes.
And that's the end of an initiative, of a project that could continue for years. And speaking of partnerships, I don't think any project is successful without strong partnerships. Partners are able to bring in their vision, their innovation, their perspectives, their network. So when you do it alone, it's nice. But when you do it together, you're capable of achieving a lot more, and also reducing the burden of work. You can split tasks together, and partners
Simplify.
exactly partners support with the implementation of that vision. And in all the projects that I've been lucky to lead or to be part of, one of the major components that contributed to success of these projects is strong partnerships. And strong partnerships are built on respect, honesty, communication,
Values.
and important values, absolutely. And monitoring and evaluation, because if partners do not convene, do not meet each other from time to time to talk about the status of their progress, and they just continue, then it's a journey towards the unknown. But when partners are aware of the importance of monitoring and checking where they are,
And communication, keeping tabs with what's happening.
absolutely, communication and communicating with the targeted community to understand if the partners are on the right track. And then evaluation, of course, it's very important to evaluate.
Accountability.
Accountability is something that I heard multiple times since I
Okay.
came, and I'm so happy that it's one of the key terms that is constantly mentioned, because without accountability, then there's no impact, I would say.
And speaking about partnerships and expanding, what you're doing in Morocco, how do you make that continental? Do it in Nairobi, Kenya, do it in Accra, Ghana, do it in Ethiopia, in South Africa. How are you planning to make it continental?
To make the partnerships continental,
Your
is-
projects in Morocco, make them
Yes.
continental.
Yeah, we would love to. I mean, I'm very happy about how Morocco is growing and the strong ties with the African Union and the African continent. And this is also thanks to His Majesty King Mohammed VI's efforts to promote this vision and to build strong ties with the continent, because most often we say we're Moroccans, but we're also Africans. And it's very important to connect with the African continent and to understand the existing projects and ways to collaborate. And for me, honestly, when I was selected to participate in the Leadership Landscape Forum, I was on top of the world, because this is my first time to East Africa.
Okay, welcome
And,
to Nairobi.
Thank you so much. And I've always dreamed of visiting other African countries in East, South, and other areas of the continent, because so far I was able to only visit North Africa. But definitely, it's just a matter of identifying partners, the right partners, to have a discussion.
Sparking
to pitch,
conversations.
Exactly, to pitch our initiatives. And I believe that only through events like this one that we are able to start these conversations. And so far, I've met amazing people who are open to discussing potential partnerships, and I cannot wait.
You are on the podcast also, spreading the message and
I
getting the
would
word
love
out.
to. If you're watching this podcast and you would love to partner with a Moroccan NGO working on sustainable mobility or on youth capacity building and development, please do reach out to me.
Absolutely. So do you feel there's a disconnect between Morocco, North Africa, and the rest of Africa? What do you think about that?
I don't think so. I think we're very well connected to the African continent. And as I said, the Moroccan government has always been keen to build strong partnerships and ties with our neighbors and especially with Africa. We belong to the African continent, so it's very obvious that investment and willingness to connect and to partner with the private sector, with the civil society, with the government agencies and international organizations as well is there. And the proof is the existing projects and ongoing partnerships that we're having and the future partnerships as well and big projects, long-term projects that are coming as well.
So the trick is conversing, getting in a room together, and now sparking conversations that can impact the African continent.
Sparking a conversation and having willingness
By
to
the way.
make it work, because if there is no willingness, you can have the most productive and fruitful conversation, and then once people leave the door, it
Dies
ends
off.
there. But
Yeah.
when there is a strong willingness and belief that this continent belongs to us and we belong to it and we need to serve it for current and future generations, then absolutely
We become self-driven.
all the actors involved will do their absolute best to make it happen. And of course, sometimes you spark a conversation and you're like, it's not clear yet. But with follow-up, and as I said, if there is a strong...
It doesn't stop there. It's work.
Exactly.
It's a process.
If there is an internal motivation and willingness to make it happen, it will happen.
Absolutely. And another theme that's huge in the conference today is about technology and data. How important do you think technology and data is in connecting Africa, facilitating also in maybe greening the African horizon and achieving a prosperous Africa? How important is technology and data?
Of course. We should keep up with what's happening in the world, and technology and data are two important pillars to make sure that this is achieved. Data informs policies and it informs projects. It's thanks to data that we are able to understand what we want to do and if it's meaningful or not. And as someone who has done data collection before as part of projects or as part of also of my academic background, I can tell that without data, we are not able to make the right decisions. We can only make
accurate decisions, by the way.
Exactly, accurate decisions that will, as I said, inform policies and inform projects. So data is definitely something critical and important for all the sectors and for all partners and stakeholders involved. And for technology, I think that this is something, technology has always existed.
By the way.
But I think through COVID-19 and during that crisis, we were able to understand that it's very...
The impact of technology.
It's
social
very
media
important to
blew up
invest.
at that time.
Technology and technology awareness and literacy, media literacy, digitalization, and digital literacy are also important, because you may have the best technology in the world, but if people are not aware of how to use it, then...
It's not useful.
Exactly. It's like having a fertile land, but you don't know how to use it to
How to
grow
utilize
crops,
it, yeah.
how to grow plants, and what are the best seeds to plant in the land. So technology, I would definitely recommend every sector to leverage it and to use it for the right purposes. It's a double-edged sword. If it's used right, then we're able to facilitate...
It's bittersweet.
Absolutely. Facilitate people's lives, to increase accessibility, because I would say not everyone is able to attend GLF Africa this year, but thanks to...
Online. You can attend online.
This
That's
is
technology.
exactly my point. Thanks
Yeah.
to technology, people can join from all corners of the continent and even abroad, build synergies, participate in discussions, and be informed. But if it's not used right, and I would give the example of unavailability of media literacy and technology literacy, then people will not know how to leverage it and to make good use of it. And another issue or challenge with technology is the fact that not everyone has access to it, unfortunately.
Yeah, even internet access. It's a bit scarce, especially in Africa.
That's an issue. If you don't have access to technology, then we're not promoting equitable and equal access to available resources. And the truth is that no one should be left behind. And governments and different organizations should mobilize their efforts to make sure that this is a tool that is used, that is available to everyone, to make sure that no one is left behind.
inclusivity. Everyone is
Exactly.
involved. And I wanted to find out how the strides Morocco has made. How can the rest of Africa, West Africa, East Africa, what can we borrow from you guys? What are the strides you made in technology and also in tapping into that tech world? How can we also maybe learn from you guys and maybe incorporate that in East, West Africa?
I believe that there's so much to share from Morocco and so much also from us to learn from other countries. So it's a matter of creating spaces where we can have the opportunity to co-create and to share best practices. And this platform is an amazing
It's a huge one. It's a global platform. Yeah.
to start with it. So, in addition to creating spaces and platforms where we can share best practices, I think leveraging the existing technologies and existing best practices is one of them. I think in Morocco, something that worked really well is the fact that we do not start or reinvent the wheel. We start from what is already existing,
And you make it better.
exactly.
You advance it.
And we invest in education a lot. There is a big project happening in Morocco called Connected Schools. And what this project is doing is that schools from rural areas or cities that do not always have access to similar opportunities, they have the capacity to learn about technology, to learn how to use the computer, how to make the best out of available digital platforms. So this is one of them. And I mean, there are more. It's just that this is not my sector of expertise, but
Okay.
as I said,
Yes.
there is so much to learn from each other.
Absolutely. And like you said, at the end of the day, if we connect and have these conversations in platforms like this, once we spark a conversation in Nairobi, it goes to Morocco, it goes to Nigeria, it goes to South Africa, and we get the entire continent talking about the noble maybe idea or maybe cause that we're trying to achieve. So I feel like creating the platform, connecting, and sparking the conversations.
Exactly.
Amazing.
That's the first step to it.
Amazing. I want to find out, has your work impacted people around you and your community? What do you do?
Of course. I mean, I can talk first about how I started working in this field of sustainable mobility or youth empowerment in general. I have academic background in applied linguistics and English language teaching.
And you have a very deep passion for quality education.
Exactly. I do a lot because I know how important it is and how challenging it is for some community members to have access to education, especially quality education. So coming from that background, I am committed to quality education and doing my best so that people can also have access to that. But I started with volunteering.
Okay.
And I would like to focus on the importance of volunteering to create better opportunities, to build capacities, to connect, to improve our skills. And thanks to volunteering, I was able to have access to networks and opportunities that would not have been possible without volunteering. So after
And that's a very good sentiment,
it is, but unfortunately, people are not yet aware of the value of volunteering. Some people still think it's a waste of time. If I don't gain money out of it, then why should I do it? But the thing is that you can learn so much from volunteering that's not available at
And the
school.
money can come after you show what you can do and maybe also maybe showcase your skills or your craft.
It's an investment, I say. Volunteering is an investment in the person's time and the resources, because when you volunteer, you don't gain money, but you learn skills. And learning how to communicate, how to speak in front of an audience, how to build connections, how to work in
How
teams.
to build your confidence.
Exactly, that's super important. Building confidence for young people is critical, because when you're confident, you can knock on doors. But when you're not confident, you would always have this imposter syndrome kicking in and saying you will not be able to do it. But as I said, to just go back to the impact, I am a strong believer that impact is meaningful no matter how small it is. And honestly, whether through volunteering, designing projects, implementing projects, leading volunteering initiatives, there is always impact. If someone comes and attends, and you at the end of the day receive a text saying thank you so much, you really opened my eyes to several opportunities and
Absolutely.
information that I was not aware of. That's impact. If we were able to change someone's perspective and
That's
to
impact.
remove existing stereotype, that's impact.
By the changing
If-
minds, the structure of the human mind.
if we, exactly, ideas and minds and removing existing stereotypes are super important for building a sustainable communities and peaceful communities where dialogue is the dominant currency. If someone is capable of leading a project that offers financing for enterprises
Yes.
to start or to scale, that's also impact. It's just a matter of defining what that impact is.
And seeing it for what it is. Okay.
Exactly, because sometimes many are afraid of jumping into the ocean and starting an initiative because they think, oh, it will not have an impact. But how would you know if you don't
If you don't
try?
do it, the first thing is to do it.
Exactly, absolutely. So yes, I'm happy to share that I was able to create some impact locally, nationally, and internationally. Because in addition to working with the local NGOs in Morocco, I also work remotely with other organizations such as World Merit.
Okay.
World Merit is an NGO that supports young people across the world to implement social impact projects that focus on sustainable development goals. We have several projects and
Okay.
initiatives such as Gaia. Gaia stands for the Global Action Impact Accelerator. We have another network of amazing and talented young people called the Merit Stars, where they have access
Amazing.
to mentorship, grants, networking. We organize monthly meetings where they gather, they exchange, they talk about their ongoing projects and their hopes for a better future. And we have Action University. It's an online platform where people, young people
How can we get
especially-
involved? Guys watching and listening, maybe?
Yes, of course.
In Nairobi, in Morocco.
We have a council in Kenya. You can just go to the worldmeritplatform.org and you can register there, create a platform, create your own profile, and just filter and look for projects based in Kenya. And we also have something called the World Merit Councils. They're in small chapters, either country-based or city-based, and they all implement the World Merit vision, but with their own focus on local challenges and the local needs. So
Locally
yeah,
led solutions.
exactly.
Absolutely. And another theme that's also huge in the conference, rights and livelihoods in shifting landscapes. What do you feel is the importance of, safeguarding rights and livelihoods, even if we want to achieve a greener Africa? How do we make sure it's just? We're not violating rights, and also we're safeguarding the livelihoods of the people maybe that are doing activities. How do we provide even alternative livelihoods to communities as we emphasize on we want to green the African horizon?
I don't think that this is my answer to my question to answer. It's the community that we're trying to serve to answer, because we tend to believe that we have the sufficient expertise to improve livelihoods and to keep the rights of the communities, but it's not that. The real impact starts the moment we consult with the local communities, and this is something that came out a lot during the panel discussion that I facilitated this morning on going beyond urgent solutions, where we discovered impactful initiatives led by youth experts and experts in general across the continent. So we do have a good understanding of what human rights are. It's just a matter of implementing them and not hiding around the bush. It's just, again, a matter of connecting with the local communities, having the willingness to build strong ties and trust with the community to understand how we can improve their livelihoods. So it's not up to us or any expert in any field to think or to imagine the answer. It's a matter of sitting with the local communities, having the first discussion.
Exchanging ideas, getting to see their perspective and what, maybe how they perceive things.
And many more. And
Yeah.
we spoke about the importance of data. It's not just about talking to local households, to two households, and then, oh yeah, now we have the good understanding. It's about diversifying the voices, speaking to the largest population possible to have a good understanding. Otherwise, it's just speculations. It's not based on strong
on data, accurate
strong
data.
and accurate and updated data.
Absolutely. We'll be back after this short break.
From the plain winds to the sea. We plant the roots of harmony. In the soil of hope, we stand as one.
This is the Confident One podcast. We're back with Khadija, and I'm curious to learn about MyCP.
Thank
Can
you
you
so
shed more light
much.
about MyCP?
Yeah. MyCP is one of my favorite youth-led organizations, and I
Okay.
would like to say hi. Love you guys so much.
Hi, MyCP from the
My-
Confident Podcast.
MyCP stands for the Migration Youth and Children Platform, and I've been super blessed to be part of the organization for a year now. It's a volunteer-led organization, so we don't have full staff members. We have ongoing projects, and I was blessed to join the organization, although I don't have expertise or academic background in migration. I want to thank them so much for believing in me and for
Okay.
giving me the opportunity
platform.
to be part of the platform. So MyCP, as I said, is a youth-led organization for young people that works on bringing in the voices of young people to influence the highest level of participation. We have ongoing projects and ongoing partnerships with different organizations internationally and locally. And we have ongoing activities led by our members in all regions and across the world.
Okay.
In fact, we will also participate in the Summit of the Future that's taking place in New York, I believe, next week. And I had the opportunity to participate in the Migration Youth Forum, an event that was organized by MyCP fully to bring a delegation of 45 young people to participate, to discuss challenges related to migration, and to come up with concrete recommendations. And our aim is to influence the highest level of policies, as I mentioned. And right after the Migration Youth Forum that took place in Geneva in
Okay.
January this year, our youth delegation participated in the GFMD, the Global Forum on Migration and Development in Geneva, and they were able to participate in high-level panel discussions. Some of them were keynote speakers, and their participation was truly meaningful because there's a huge difference between being a participant and also being meaningfully participating in an
Being
event.
impactful, yeah.
Exactly. And the way I see it as a meaningful participation is because there were capacity building sessions before the GFMD, and every day the MyCP team, the organizers, would always meet with the youth delegation to check on them to see if everything is going well. And I think that's one of the main practices that other organizations should adopt. You cannot just bring young people as tokens and have them seated at the
Yeah.
table and take pictures and say, we had a representation of 5 young people.
They need to make impact and also contribute.
Thank you. Exactly. They need to contribute, to speak about their own perspectives, and to not tell them what to say because you're afraid
Their
of
reality.
not pleasing someone. It's a matter of creating safe spaces for young people to speak and to believe that they have the necessary expertise to share their perspectives. And I really admire that about MyCP. I joined first as the MENA regional focal point, as the Middle East and North Africa regional
Yeah,
focal
we spoke
point.
about that before you got on, sir, MENA.
Yes, exactly. It's a region, a rich region with its resources, youth, and ongoing projects. It's also a region that's facing a lot of challenges and issues. But through that role, I was also able to be open to other organizations working in the migration sector and with young people.
Because you guys are shaping migration policies.
Exactly. And just this year, I had the pleasure of participating in the GCM review in the Arab world that took place in Cairo. And speaking of meaningful youth participation, I was the rapporteur of the multi-stakeholder session that took place before the GCM review in the Arab League. And it's such an honor because instead of giving the opportunity to someone with years of experience, a doctor in a university, you're bringing a young person to collect those recommendations and to trust them to share them at the end of the day in front of the general director of IOM, the International Organization for Migration. So I really salute the organization for the work
Absolutely,
that they're
very
doing.
powerful. Yeah.
And this year I'm the development and well-being leader, and I'm so excited to embark on this.
All the
new
best with
role.
that.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll be looking forward to watching and seeing your work.
Yeah, and please, if you're interested to join,
Actually, that's a good question. How is someone watching in
Yeah.
Nairobi, in Africa, around Africa, how can they participate and join?
Absolutely. You can just visit our website, Migration Youth and Children Platform. There is a section called Contact, or you can just reach out to me, and I'll be happy to share with you the spreadsheet where we have the contact information, and you can join our organization.
Absolutely amazing. And also, we spoke about YAC. You're supposed to shed some light about that too?
Yes, YAC stands for the Youth Advisory Committee. It's a youth committee created by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in the Netherlands. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs started a project called the Youth at Heart that aims to increase meaningful youth participation. And in order to do that and to reflect the voices of young people in Africa and the Middle East, they launched a project called the YAC, Youth Advisory Committee, and I was lucky to be among the members of the first cohort and the second cohort as well. I
Okay.
served as a member, as the Moroccan representative for 2 years, and I had the opportunity to visit the Netherlands, a beautiful country that I admire so much, and to meet wonderful people who all are committed to the values of meaningful youth participation and co-creation. And in our role, we were able to discuss with policy officers from different departments of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to discuss topics such as climate adaptation, media literacy, youth employment. And it was one of the most enriching experiences in my life because I was able to understand how policies are shaped
And how policy works.
exactly,
Okay.
and how challenging it is
Okay.
to create a new policy or to change a new policy. But something that stood out to me is how the country is open to having youth representation and meaningful youth representation. And I'm super grateful for that opportunity, and I really hope that all countries will be willing to have a youth advisory committee to hear the perspectives of young people and to reflect their voices in their policies and projects.
Absolutely amazing. And I'm thinking about GLF. How did you get involved? How did you become a speaker in this conference? How did that happen?
Sure. Special thanks to the organizers and to GLF team and also to the Leadership and Landscape Camp organizers. I applied to participate in the Leadership Landscape camp
Okay.
that took place 3 days ago. We embarked on very meaningful discussions around how do we imagine the future of African
Africa.
landscape,
Okay.
how can we protect our climate, how can young people be mobilized to create more initiatives in their
Okay.
communities locally and nationally. And I was selected and I received a fully funded opportunity to come here. So I'm super grateful for that opportunity. And also I would like to thank my friend Iman from Morocco.
She'll be watching, yeah?
Yeah, who I was shared
Shouts
with
to her.
her. Shout out, Iman.
right,
Thank
okay.
you so much. Who shared this opportunity with me. She participated last year and she encouraged me to apply this year. And while preparing for my travel, while packing my suitcase, I received an email, an invitation to moderate a panel discussion. And I said yes.
Amazing.
And I was so happy to receive that invitation and all the support from the team to make sure that I enjoy the process and I feel comfortable. And that's how I became a speaker, and I'm super honored.
Thank you for making impact with your skills and your knowledge. And I want to find out as we wrap up, how do we achieve greening the African horizon? In your opinion, how can we achieve that?
In my opinion, we can achieve that by building strong partnerships, by investing in ongoing projects, and supporting youth-led initiatives. Because young people have the motivation, they have the innovation, and they are affected by the challenges that the continent is facing. And they are the future, but before that, they are the present.
Absolutely.
So I would definitely highlight securing sufficient resources. And I'm not just talking about funding, I also talk about capacity development,
Partnerships?
mentorship, and partnerships.
Okay.
And believing in the power of youth. In addition to funding, of
The
course.
power of youth.
Exactly. The power of youth is at the heart of my recommendation, and I cannot emphasize on that enough. And education and providing
Quality
spaces.
education.
Quality education.
Absolutely.
Thank you for reminding me.
Absolutely.
And creating spaces where other young people can be inspired. Because without hope, we will not be able to continue the work and that we're doing and to make it sustainable. And we can build hope in other young people who are thinking that, well, Africa is only facing challenges. But if we showcase the existing invest in initiatives, then they will change their perspective and to think, okay, so if this person is capable of doing it, then I can as well. And it's a
Absolutely.
matter of bridging the gap between those who are able to create something and those who are still struggling to create bridges for communication and collaboration.
And together we achieve greatness.
Absolutely.
So this segment, I call it Words of Confidence. So you get to speak directly to your people in Morocco, in Nairobi, and inspire confidence in them to grow in the African horizon. So you just speak directly to them. That's your camera.
Azur, that's hi in my indigenous Amazigh language. To all the youth watching this podcast, I want to first emphasize on the importance of believing in yourself and your capacities. No one is born capable of doing everything. Life is a journey of learning and unlearning. And please do not hesitate to knock on doors and to reach out to people who have ongoing initiatives to ask if there is an opportunity for you to join as a volunteer, as a co-creator, and then to have the confidence to start something on your own. Africa is our continent. We belong to it, it belongs to us, and we need to make sure that its resources are maintained for current and future generations. And we can only do that if we have the willingness and the commitment to continue the amazing projects that already exist and to innovate to create new projects that ensure that no one is left behind and that our resources are maintained.
Absolutely. That's very powerful. And I hope they are taking notes and listening.
Thank you so much for
Thank you for
having
your
me.
time. Thank you for coming. Thank you for
Appreciate
coming
it.
to Nairobi. Invite us to Morocco.
Please, you're welcome.
We'll be so
مرحبا
happy to
بكم.
come.
We'll be honored.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. Keep breaking the glass ceiling. We'll be watching you. How can we find you? Socials?
I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn under the name that you will share in the
we'll
caption.
share on
Khadija
screen, so-
Amahal.
All right. Absolutely amazing. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. It's a absolute pleasure.
Thank you. This is the Confident One Podcast. Khadija from Morocco to Nairobi, Kenya.
From the plains to the sea, we plant the roots of harmony. In the soil of hope, we stand as one, greeting the African horizon.